Yeah, welcome back to the Dating While Adulting podcast at datingwhileadulting.com. Things that you heard in the introduction, but still, I feel the need to mention it again. Well, not the need, but the desire to mention it again. Email us at podcast at datingwhileadulting.com if you have anything that you want to tell us about ourselves. I've been getting some interesting feedback, good feedback, because I think all feedback is good. Anything that's constructive and not just simply you guys suck. Um, which fortunately I have not gotten. So,
Oh, that's good. I feel good about myself now.
well,
He
I don't
sucks.
know. I don't know how many people would tell us, but um, but that would be interesting for someone to tell us. But with that said, that's neither here nor there. Um, and I hate when I say First thing I want to mention, this is the only thing I want to mention before we get into the details of this episode, is that Reggie, did you see that Jeff Bezos' ex-wife got married?
Yes.
So
To a Seattle science high school teacher.
right, right. So let's explore this now.
Well,
They were breaking up because he decided he didn't want to be with her and he was dating some, I don't know who she was, some
but he's
woman.
already cheating.
Yeah, he was already out there. But man, she must have been doing something if she recovered this quickly.
Well, yes and no. I was reading the Anderson Park story. I was reading some of his backstory
Or Pack.
and Pack. Um, and what his mom did when the father of Anderson had to do his obligations. Um, the guy she married, already knew, and it started off as plutonic. But because he was already readily available, they got married 1 year after, and his Anderson's father had to go do his obligations. So, uh,
See, to me, that sounds like the reason you can't be friends with people of the opposite sex. So that's that for that. I also want to take a little moment to send a shout out to Top Black Podcast. Find them on Instagram at Top Period Black Period Podcast. They gave us a nice shout out. The podcast a nice little shout out on their Instagram page, and they exist to help promote podcasts in the Black community succeed. So I really appreciate them for that. And
bravo,
also
bravo.
send a shout out to Black Podcast Fest, Black Pod Fest. Forgive me if I'm getting that wrong, but that was a virtual summit of podcasters to network and find useful information about growing podcasts and things like that.
Oh,
So
cool.
I want to shout both of them out for just the work that they put in. And like I said, Top Black Podcast for um, giving us a nice little write up. I appreciate them for that. So that's that for that. So now going into our topic, what we're going to talk about today is this is going to serve as kind of like a companion piece. We talked about cheating, and while this doesn't directly speak to cheating, it does indirectly go kind of hand in hand with that episode because we're going to spend time talking about basically options and examining whether the grass is greener, because it reminds me of the old Chris Rock joke where he used to end it by saying that when he was talking about his own marriage and he was comparing that to people who were single in different stages of relationships, and the conclusion that he came to was that everybody's miserable. So he said you're either yeah, he said you're either single and lonely or married and miserable. So the point is, it's better on the other side. And before I go further, Reggie, did I introduce you?
No.
Oh, say hi, Reggie.
Hi, Reggie.
Oh, that's Reggie, everybody. He's the co-host of the Dating While Adulting podcast.
Apparently, only part time today, but
Yeah, yeah. He shows up ever so often, as in every episode, and he talks. But sorry about that. But
I need one of those. I need one of those dogs that press that in Purple Rain. You don't really love you.
I think me and maybe three people are only ones who did that. But at least this time I am one of the people. So
Yes.
yeah. But going back to it, so yeah, it seems that everybody's looking to the other side. Like it's funny to me how many married people look at my life and they're like, "Oh wow, man, you got it made, man. You can do whatever you want
Hold
to."
up, hold up. That was rude. I'm sorry. I'm zipping my thing on in the middle, forgetting that I have a headphone. So you got this big zzz when you were talking. So my bad.
Look at you.
Please start over.
Well, I'm just amazed that you actually like considered the downloadable podcasters. You usually only cater to the YouTubers who would have actually seen it.
Hey man, I'm evolving too.
Look at this, boy. It's just evolution all the way around. But yeah, but anyway, so yeah, so like people look at me in my life and you know, and not to say that my life is so great, but people look at what I do and how I live and they're just like, wow, it's just so great. You can do whatever you want to and you don't have to answer to anybody and blah 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 blah. And they say that about all single people, but then us on the single side, we're looking at them and saying, wow, it must be nice not coming home to an empty house. Now, let me just say on a side note, sometimes it's very nice to come home to an
No,
empty
they hit
house.
the house.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah,
trip. Sometimes it's
yeah,
very nice.
yeah. So let me sell it short. I'm
Yeah,
not
no,
just
no,
sitting
no.
over here
Yes.
like sitting in misery.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah, exactly. You know, the married man, hell, the married woman sit to say the same thing. Motherfucker, why don't you just go do something? So, so hey, sometimes it is happy. You know, you get that 1 2 week span of just you doing what you want to do. But
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, yeah. Sometimes, especially when it's like stuff that I want to go to and stuff like that. Back in the day, what I used to do, and I don't do it so much anymore because I don't see anybody that's worthy of it. When I would want to go to a show or something like that, I would just naturally buy two tickets. If there was something that was happening that I wanted to see, I would buy two tickets and just figure what if it was 2 weeks away. If I met a woman in the next 2 weeks, hey, she gets the benefit of seeing like shoot Prince at the Omni or something like that. Even though she doesn't deserve to see it because we just met and we probably won't be together in another 2 weeks. But the cool thing about when I look at marriage is being able to do things for someone and not questioning whether they deserve it, whether they're worthy of it or not. And conversely, I see married people saying, shoot, there are times when I want to be by myself and I don't get that luxury because I have a spouse and I have kids at the crib and I always have to like answer to them, check up with them, check on them, and blah, blah, blah. And that goes to the whole topic that we're discussing today, which is evaluating whether the grass is greener on the other side. And the reason it's a companion piece to cheating, correct me if I'm wrong on this. Well, wrong. Well, let me know if you see it the same way. And the reason it's a companion piece for cheating is because part of the evaluation of whether the grass is greener, the way that some people explore whether the grass is greener is by stepping out,
correct.
and that can not necessarily be a single person looking at a married relationship or married people looking at a single relationship. It could be a single person looking at another
Another relationship because they are not really appreciating what they actually have in the relationship that they're in, and for whatever reason they keep looking at only the negative stuff, not understanding the positive stuff. And that's the whole grass greener thing. This one, you have, for instance, I use me as an example, even though I'm married. I can sit there and bitch and gripe about my wife not doing this, not doing that, no, doing it, but totally forgetting everything positive that she's doing and bringing to the relationship, and be like, well, I'm just done with this. I can't do it no more. And I step out because I need to find someone who fits the image of what I think a marriage should be. And I go do it. So then I go leave my wife and get with the other chick and we get married. But if I didn't do that self-reflection of why I actually left, because I was only looking at the negative aspect, that cycle's gonna happen all over again. Because sooner or later, once the honeymoon effect runs down, I'm gonna start nitpicking all the negative stuff there. Because I'm looking for everything external of me to make me happy.
there's like a fine line between whether a person is staying in something too long and they should get out, or they're not giving it enough of a shot.
Yes, you're not watering your own grass.
Yeah. And Reggie gets on me about this all the time because Reggie has been a believer that I am not the one that gives these things enough of a shot.
He is definitely the grass is greener guy. My thing is, I don't have enough. I don't have a lot of time left either. And like you said, don't want to be the dead in relationship because the grass is dead. The grass is really dead, and and no matter how much fertilizer and how many times you cross True Lawn, it's not coming back. So I'm just the opposite, unfortunately. When I do commit, and stuff like that. Not saying I wouldn't cheat because it gets
Oh,
mucky there.
hold on.
It get
I,
mucky there.
I
But
do
hold on,
commit.
huh?
I do commit.
Yeah, right.
Unlike me, you do.
You commit all 2 seconds. Oh wait, she put her feet on my couch. Get out.
Finish what you're gonna say.
Anyway, but I know why I get in relationship. When I know why I get in a commitment in a relationship with women, and overall, to put it real simply, because I actually like them.
Oh, you actually said that you get with women because you like women.
I
Um,
do that. No, I do like women.
to the whole thing about the grass being greener, the reason I bring up the whole thing about that fine line between staying too long and not staying long enough is because I have been in relationships, committed, and I knew, going back to the episode that we had about cheating, I knew that the relationships were over, but I didn't. Well, at least I felt that they were over, but I still held out some hope.
Why?
Why did I hold out
No,
hope?
no, no, no. Why did you know they were over?
Oh,
Or
just
how?
because.
Actually, how?
Well,
That's
it's just because if all relationships have arguments, but to me, the way that you know something is over is one, the frequency of the arguments and what the arguments are about. I don't even know what would qualify as a real legitimate argument from two people who don't have their lives combined yet. In marriages, I can see you arguing about money. I can see you arguing about
toilet
with
seats.
wife. Yeah, toilet seats. But in relationships, like none of our stuff is intertwined. So we shouldn't argue about money because your money is your money, my money is my money. We shouldn't be arguing about like how we move and live our lives because we're living separate lives. We're like just meeting where we should. Yeah, and see the reason Reggie gives me crap about commitment and all of that because I think we're on just different sides of the spectrum. If me and Reggie are like counseling a couple, and boy, that would suck for that couple if we
Oh
were.
boy.
But
Whew. They gonna need therapy after that.
right, if me and Reggie are counseling a couple, Reggie would be the one that would be more likely to say, "You all stay together and work it out." I'll be the one that'll be more likely to say, well, based on what you all laid out here, it sounds like y'all are pretty much done. I guess the way I see it is like this. Um, and you give me crap about this all the time. If I meet a woman and she does all of these great things for me, one of the things that Reggie knows is a pet peeve of mine is being late. I am, I am if I am late, then that means that I'm dead. That is a thing for me because I really do value time in ways that seem weird to other people, but I really do. And so if a woman is doing all of these things and her thing is, well, um, you're late. That's her thing. And whereas the Reggies of the world be like, well, man, dude, it's not that big a deal. She's like, she does all these other things. And my thing is, if this is important to me, why do I have to just accept that she just won't do this, knowing how important it is to me? What?
This is one of those rare times, Mike also hates when people interrupt him, but he'll love this one. I'm sorry, Michael. I understand.
And that's been my thing all the time. People will be like, well, he takes his socks off and he throws them on the floor and he could just put them in the hamper, and people be like, what's the big deal? He just takes his socks and put them in and just throws them on the floor. It's not the biggest deal in the world. But I'm like, I'm with you, sister, because really once you've articulated that it's important to you, I
Oh
don't
God.
understand if he really respected you, why he would still do it. And see, I've been burnt, and see, that's one of the things I've been burned on, not the socks on the floor or something like that. But
Okay.
and we get on people for this all the time. We get on women for this all the time. But I have been in a situation or several situations, because it seems like I date a lot of women that are late,
Mm.
and I just think that that is something so simple that we'll eventually work that out. Now, that is naive on my part,
Boy, is it.
because for some reason for which I cannot figure out, if a person is late, that is not just something that they do. That is something that
Who
they
they
are.
are. Yeah.
And it just seems so simple to me. It's like, especially now with like GPS and all kind of stuff, where you can like set the thing in your phone and tells you what time, how long it takes you to get there.
But like I said, but see, that's that's one of your core. I'm not gonna say value. I say values because it's not a core personality, but it's one of your core values. That's in top five, if not number one. And the fact that you were naive to believe. Now, granted, you have learned. No, if she's late, she's cut. She's cut. There's no we're going to. But the fact that you actually gave it thought the first time, well, there's something I can work with, blah, 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 is one of the reasons why I think a lot of relationships fail, because they don't know what at least those top three things that make them really go, I need this. And if you can't do this, there is nothing else on the bottom of the list that's going to fulfill these three. And like I said, the late thing is one, because in your mind, probably, I'm going to speak for you just a half a second, you're not being courteous enough to actually appreciate my time. So you can't definitely not be courteous enough once we get in this thing to appreciate anything that I might do.
Right. But when I'm talking to people and the Reggies of the world, and
Wait a minute, you keep throwing me on the bus.
I'm just saying, when I talk to the Reggies of the world and they're asking me, well, what happened to that woman that you told me about? And I'm like, every time we would go out, she was late. And you all will look at me and be like, and I'm like, that's it.
No, I said I apologize. I was wrong.
Yeah, okay, okay. But I'm just saying, in the past, that's the
In the
lecture I
past,
would
yeah, on
get.
the past, we
And,
beat on you.
and then that goes back to the grass being greener. At least it is for me. It's like, where is the line? It's like all of these good things, because ultimately there's going to be something that you don't like that you're just going to have to accept.
Yeah, but you better make sure that's at the bot one. The the last third of the list. Jesus, can I talk now? The last third of the list. Don't let it be in the top five.
But going back to the late thing, if you're late though, all the time, really, is it that big a deal? Because I know people that are just like, two ways I've heard guys, because it seems like women are more late than guys. Sorry, women. Not really, show up on time. um but two ways I've heard guys handle this. One is, if we're supposed to be them somewhere at 5:30, I'll tell them it's at 5. Okay, that's one. And then two is, well, if they're going to be late, I'll just start showing up late. And see, that
But
one
see,
seems flawed because, shoot, from my
that's not who
experience,
you are.
well, in my experience, when I've actually done that, that gives them the license to show up even later.
Yeah, this is true. This
Yeah,
is true. Yeah.
yeah, so you don't win. And then the whole thing about like telling somebody to get there like a half an hour early or something like that, it's like, how many times are they going to fall for that?
The banana tailpipe one.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, okay, you got me once. The second time it's gonna be like, okay, really, what time? Really,
But like I
really.
said, it goes back to, coming to terms and actually being honest about who you are and what you really want. Because as I have matured to actually understand that aspect of the punctuality of people showing up versus you just being self-centered in your own thing. Well, they'll get over it. And well, I'm okay. What's the big deal? It's a big deal because that's what makes you you. And if they can't respect that, and like I said, that's one of those very top three ones. And if the other person can't respect that's who you are, they don't need to be there. For instance, one of mine is after, not even after a bottle of wine. Sometimes it's on a full moon. and the sunshine's been out all day and I feel great, I may just have my own little mini concert. And you have to, you have to,
Oh, Reggie.
you don't have to love it, but you have to like that quirk in me because that's who I am. And if you get annoyed because, the sky is blue and the grass is green and it's actually not 12 degrees outside, and I start catcalling, um, you shouldn't be with me.
Boy, I tell you what, I I dated a woman. She would sing everything. It was like you turn on the radio, she starts singing with the radio. We go to a movie, she starts singing the songs in the movie. She was also that same woman that used to like predict. We'd be at a movie and she predict what the person was going to say in the movie, even though she'd never seen the movie. Yeah, she would be that person, and it would just be so annoying. Yeah, it's like I went to I went to see that movie Queen and Slim, and I, I let me just say this, and I know this has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but you know,
The grass is greener.
yeah, every black person acts like that's the greatest movie of all time. I'm sorry,
Except for me.
that movie, because Reggie didn't see it. But that movie was trash. The movie was just trash. It's like we got to get out of this whole thing. We need to support black art. I'm all for it, but we need to acknowledge also when stuff isn't great. I think
Mama
it's
rap.
oh boy, you in this mumble rap. Coming to America. Okay, that's all I have to say about that. Um, but we go to Queen and Slim, and the woman for people who hadn't seen it, like Reggie, even
Like me.
who cares if I'm spoiling the plot? The woman in the woman queen, she was a lawyer. So the woman,
Allegedly a lawyer.
so the woman that I went to that movie with was a lawyer. And man, they get stopped by the cops and she's doing her lawyer thing. Legally, you cannot ask me this and all that. And the girl is like, that's right, because the law says, like, I don't give a fuck. It's a movie. I'm sorry. I'm
He
sorry.
had to go up on that tangent.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Brought to you by Angry Michael.
I'm sorry. Going back to the whole thing, going back to that couple that me and Reggie hypothetically are counseling and stuff like that. The point that I was making was that whereas it goes back into that Tyler Perry 80-20 rule in which you would leave, you would have 80% of everything that you want at home with the person that you're with, but you leave that person because you lack the 20%. You go out looking for the 20%. And then once you get to 20%, you'll realize that you don't have 80 at that point. So you may as well stay with the 80. Reggie's the person that might say, yo, look at the 80%. The grass is green right here. I'll be the person that says, why can't y'all get that 20%? Might be 20% over here.
Well, no, like I said, my take on that is the fact that it goes back to, like, I broke it down. I broke it down a little bit more. The top 5 things that makes Reggie has to be in that 80%. If that top 5 is in the 20%, that 80% doesn't mean anything.
I guess what it comes down to for me.
Or no, or like I said, as since you're using 80-20, if you put 100% in the 20%, you're gonna get 80% of the results. That's how it works. 20% of everything gives you 80% of the results. So, but if you put in all your energy in 80%, and it's not the top 20% of the thing, the items that make the relationship work, you're wasting your time.
Man, here's what I know. We have 5 minutes left.
You just hate the grass.
I
You're just gonna concrete all your grass. Never cut it no more watering. Fuck all that.
I am thinking about getting never mind. I just in evaluating relationships, and the reason that we do this podcast and the reason we talk about relationships and dating, one, because that's the name of the podcast, but also because I'm just confused as to why we all make these things so difficult.
I have to agree with him.
80-20 or whatever, if there's 20% that's an issue, to me, you have three ways of dealing with that. One, you accept that that's what the person does, and you need to find a way to deal with it. Two, you can try to address it with the person and come to an agreement to either them stopping, changing, or modifying it in a way that gives you all mutual benefit.
But they tell you now you're not supposed to change anybody.
See, and that's the fucking problem right there.
My bad. I didn't say that. I don't agree.
I'm just saying. It's funny that we're getting into this in the last 5 minutes because that's the problem. Everybody's on this like self-empowerment kick where it's like, I was reading like an Instagram post because again, I mentioned that on the last podcast that we're on Instagram now. So now I'm reading these Instagram posts and it's National Women's Month. God bless all the women.
Bless all women.
It probably won't be National Women's Month when this comes out. Who cares? Anyway, it was National Women's Month. And all of the posts are just like, love yourself. Don't apologize for who you are. Don't change. Love what you are in all aspects. And while I appreciate the sentiment behind that, I think it's misguided in that we all need to be acknowledging our flaws and not embracing them, but finding ways to like fix them.
Humiliate them, mollify them.
Yeah.
Calm those bitches down.
Yeah. I'm an evil bitch, or I'm an asshole dick of a man. And so instead of saying maybe I should be nicer to people, it's like, no.
You need to accept me for who I am.
Embrace who I am. And
I need to be authentic.
Right. And accept it. Like one of the posts said, accept that it's fine that you won't be understood. And I guess that's okay as long as you accept what comes with not being understood. If you're not understood and you accept that, you're going to be seen as a fucking nut. And if you're fine with being seen that way, that's cool. But if you have an issue with it, then maybe you should kind of like
there's some communication courses.
Right. Right. Because it just seems simple. And I can't harp on enough the whole thing about the kindness thing, because a lot of this stuff, this self-empowerment, love me for myself, it's a whole lot of like bitchiness. And I say that like in a mean way. Like people being mean to each other, being brutally honest and stuff.
Oh yeah,
using to be nice. If you see it's the truth, you don't give a damn if it hurts somebody's feelings. I remember Brandy, the singer. Her and Ray J's mother is known to be a little difficult. And when she was interviewed about her being difficult, she said, "Look, I'm being me. If somebody has a problem with me, that's on them. They should toughen up."
That's very self-centered.
And that's the mentality that a lot of people have. I'm just being me.
It's a very self-centered. Yeah, it's a very self-centered point of view.
Right. And so when we're talking about greener on the other side and relationships and stuff like that, I think that's the part that is just so difficult for me, because I think too many people have this. To love myself means I have to accept myself in every aspect. And it's like, no, if you want to get along with this person that you've committed to, you got to accept that you have to modify some shit about yourself.
No, see, they do need this. No, particularly women, they do need to accept who they are and the flaws and stuff like that. But more than likely, it stops there. They just accept it, but they ain't changing anything.
Well, that's what I mean. That's what I'm talking
okay,
about.
I thought you said.
And all this stem from your saying that they say that people shouldn't change anymore, and that's true. They do say people shouldn't change, because are you trying to change me? If I have another woman that comes to me and says that I'm trying to change them just because I asked them to just like talk to me like a human being.
But I think it's me and my sister got this thing, and because I sat there and said, manage. I need to train and manage. If I was to get divorced, I need to train and manage the other person. And she said, no, you shouldn't change. I said, look here, that other person don't know me from damn Adam. And if I don't tell them or train them how to love me properly for me not to go cheat, She ain't gonna figure that shit out. She ain't gonna sit there and get the book of Reggie, but let me read this shit and study and do notes and footnotes. No, she's not. She's not.
It's funny that it's funny that women have been talking about training men for decades, but it sounds just so weird when a man talks about training a woman.
Hey man,
It just caught me off guard when you said that.
Equal empowerment.
Yeah, that's true. All right, man. We got less than a minute left. You got anything else to say about that?
Oh no, we gonna save it to the after party.
Be kind, people. That's my whole thing. And if if you think the grass is greener on the other side, I think it's something fair that you should examine and look at. Because if you're not getting 20% at home, I don't understand why you can't get the 20% at home. Like I said, 3 options. They can either modify, change, you can come to an agreement, you can accept that they do that thing and stop bitching about it, or you can leave. You got 3 options. Dating while adulting. Datingwhileadulting.com. Say goodbye, Reggie.
Goodbye, Reggie.
Thank you. Bye. Okay, we're clear.
Okay. I really do appreciate the kindness thing. I think that is one of the lost arts, and particularly when you have this "I'm not changing culture, accept me as I am," as if I need unconditional love like Jesus. Jesus was the quote unquote perfect human. I don't think you even come close to trying to get that kind of dedication from somebody. So that means you will have to change some things about your personality and your perspective and your attitude, which is the reason why I am still Captain Save-A-Hole, because attitudes can be changed, but I'm not going to sit there and change your core of who you are, because if I had to do that, there's no reason for me to be with you.
But that's the core of who they are, though. See, how do you differentiate the core from some ancillary stuff? If they're being rude to everybody that they come in contact with, how is that not their core?
Because maybe their personality, maybe their perspective is just all fucked up. But she has, for instance, she may have another one of the 4 that makes me think, okay, she has the other 4, but her perspective on this particular area is just all fucked up. Just like, perfect example, the podcast about cheating. Not all, women think that all men cheat. Yes. All men are dogs. That is an attitude adjustment that needs to happen. So therefore, because if that, going by what you're saying, we shouldn't mess with any of them because we're changing who they fundamentally are.
And see, that's my thing. Well, first of all, I don't think that all women are mean, so it's not changing all.
No, I mean the cheating thing.
But to that point, and see, that's why it's like I believe in changing people.
Me too.
I believe that there are people that need to change.
Some people need to raise their. If you want to be with me, you need to raise your fucking standards. Just bottom line.
Yeah. So that whole thing about you're trying to change me, and it's like it's like when women have said that to me, I'm just like, dude, I'm just asking you to show some respect to me. It's like I don't even know what you're talking about. It's like so basically you don't like me for who I am, and it's like I'm starting not to.
I was gonna say something, but no. Do you really want me to answer that question?
Oh boy.
But like I said, I'm gonna flip this, because you always say I always bash women.
Yes,
which I do, and I don't care. But because men don't have that, men don't have, in all seriousness, men don't have the platform to actually speak for us because we're supposed to man up and shut up and just do what they tell us to do. But on the fact that if I was to get with a woman whose standards are higher than mine, and she actually choose me, say, okay, I know you lower than me, but you got potential. You used to work fries and shit, if that happens, I'm not gonna sit there and say, well, you just gotta accept me for who I am, because no. I need to up my game.
Yeah. Asking something of someone, even if it's as simple as, like, let's say the whole your concert thing, or when I mentioned like the woman talking or singing at their car radio and stuff like that. It's like, if that's something that bothers me, if that's something in the 20%, and that would be ridiculous that would be something in the 20%, but if that's something in the 20% that you don't like, that you're looking at the other person's grass and saying, this person shuts the fuck up instead of singing all the time. Okay, but it just seems like I, I don't know. If I was a singer like that and somebody came to me and was like, "Yo, you need to calm that down a little bit. That's annoying." I can't see myself being like, "Forget that mess." No. But I guess there are some things though that
Like I said, that's
yeah,
what I'm saying about the
go
whole.
this too
You
far.
try to figure out who the core value is because that you're singing and doing like that may be a spiritual release for you or whatever going on in the day or whatever. So that's who they are. I mean, that's generally who they are. They've probably been there since they were 3 years old. But someone just being rude because they got trained to talk that way to, you know, teachers are notorious for this. Teachers are notorious. People in the education system are notorious for
Mm,
speaking down to people because they're so used to speaking down, unfortunately, to
I get that.
children.
I get that.
Now, being very patronizing. Well, no, I'm freaking 50 freaking years old. What? So yeah, that could be a little annoying.
I get that. Yeah, I do.
But the singing thing to me is like I've been, me, I've always been that way. And I just you don't necessarily I would the ultimate situation would be you actually come down here and listen. I mean, come down and actually sing with me. That'd be great. And we have a little party and shit like that. But at least, you know, don't make it seem as if I'm bothering you.
Well, I guess anytime you have to make that evaluation when you're in a relationship, for me, I evaluate how this action impacts me, as selfish as it might sound. Somebody singing in the backyard doesn't impact me in any kind of way. Do your thing. Somebody singing in the car, though, if I'm trying to hear the song, then that does impact me.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. I
Yeah,
mean, that's how I think most people evaluate that's how most people should. How is this really going to impact me?
yeah, yeah.
And if it doesn't impact you that way, and you actually do it, like I said, the best scenario is you actually do enjoy that they do that. That's what the part that you find loving about them, and you would never change that. Hell, that's what we look for. Even if you don't participate within, yourself. The fact that you actually, that's why I got, you're crazy as fuck. But that's why I love you. Versus, oh, there you go again. Why can't he just go to fucking sleep and shit?
I dated a woman once to that point, and I don't know how much this plays into what we're talking about, but it relates. Um, I for people that don't know, I live in a black neighborhood. I mean, shoot, there are like two white people in the entirety of my subdivision.
Uh-oh, it's starting.
See, there you go. He's not just
Is
saying
the
that.
is the reverse is the reverse of the tipping point?
He's
It's
not.
starting.
I know, right? Shoot, yeah, gentrification is coming. Possibly
Exactly.
5 more years. Shoot, it'll be all white. But it would always just be so funny that I was dating this woman and I wouldn't know when she was coming over to my house because whereas normally somebody would be driving, they'd be blasting some of that mumble rap or what that Reggie hates so much.
Stop.
But
Talk.
but I would be standing outside and I could hear her coming because she would be blasting like Air Supply or or Elton John. It would be crazy. Just the same way that you could hear like the mumble rap down the street, you can hear her music before you even saw the car. And,
No.
and then,
I'm on there laughing because I'm gonna do some shit like
yeah,
that.
yeah. And to your point about it being endearing, I thought that was the cutest thing in the world. Like everybody just looking at her weird, and she didn't have a care in the
Yeah,
world.
you can't give a fly to the fuck. She's singing some Journey.
Yeah, bless her heart. Yep. So yeah, so you have to just accept the quirks.
Yes, I mean that's the best part of actually being with someone that you actually do like. You accepting their quirks, and you're like, that's some crazy shit, but I love you for it. Versus all this other bullshit that we base our relationship on, like loneliness and that crap. And yeah, we're gonna get into that one.
Can I just say another thing about that though? You embrace the quirks, but and I talk about how things affect me, And if they don't affect me, you just kind of deal with them. Also, this same woman, though, she has something, and Reggie will understand this before I explain it to you all that are listening and watching. Well, watching at this point because this is the after the extra show. Um, but she had this knack. She had this thing where she liked to take her shoes off in the car and put her feet on the dashboard. Now, Reggie also knows that I am not a foot
He's
person.
not a foot person.
Not only am I not a foot person, I hate the idea of feet. There are people that have foot fetishes. I think those people are on the same level as murderers. I do not understand how that works, and yeah, that was a thing that she liked to do. And like, and talking about does it bother me or not? Technically, it didn't affect me, but one time I was driving and she did that. We were in Las Vegas, and I was just like, "Do you have to do that?" And she was like, "You're gonna have to just deal with this."
Like I said, she's a free spirit. I mean,
Yep.
if that's the thing about, this is the thing about human relationships, and this is one reason why I don't believe that trope that opposite attracts. Because, like you said in the last part about the Instagram, you're only getting half of the proper information about that. You sit there and think, oh, introverts supposed to be with extroverts and shit like that. Organizers with chaos people. No, no, that shit is cool in the honeymoon fucking phases. But after that, all that oxycontin come draining out and stuff like that, and you have to actually deal with them, that shit going to your everlasting nerves. And that's who they are. That's who they are. You need to find that, like I said, that nice little middle ground, that 4 and that 6.
Yeah. 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 We got into an argument that day.
Yeah, you can't do 1s and 5s. Well,
Yeah. Because my whole thing was, is it really that much for you to get your feet off the dashboard? And
but
it came back
that's her
around to
part of her free spirit stuff. So it's like she's thinking that you're trying to control her and cut her wisdom, as you say. So, like I said, I get it.
if she had asked me to get my feet off the dashboard, I would have. But my feet wouldn't have been on the dashboard because I hadn't had my disgusting feet on the dashboard. For the record,
There's nothing wrong with a pretty toe and a little toe ring on it, man.
Oh, stop that mess. Man, I wear socks 365 days a year. When I go to
twice on Tuesday.
When I go to the beach, I have those beach shoes that
don't say the socks. Oh, okay.
No, not socks. But I had the beach shoes that cover your whole foot. Yep. I don't care. Forget you. That mess is disgusting. And all you people that like will put your tongue on a woman's foot, shame on you all. Fucking perverts.
Boy, that's some grass and green and bullshit right there, boy. You want me to suck your toes, bitch? I'm out.
Boy.
Oh,
yeah. All right then. Yeah, I think we're done here. Yeah, you got anything else to say on that?
Nah, I think I'm good.
Yeah, you toe sucking freaks. All right. Dating while adulting. Datingwhileadulting.com. Thank you all for stopping by. Thank you all for staying for the extra segment, the after hours, as Reggie refers to it. And until next time, goodbye. Say goodbye, Reggie, again.
Goodbye, Reggie.